Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz Interview Series. On this episode, we talk with legendary tuba player Joseph Daley. We caught up with him to talk about getting through the pandemic and the release of his 2024 CD, the Tuba Trio Chronicles. After 50 years of recognition as one of the most consummate sidemen on the adventurous music scene with legends like Sam Rivers, Carla Bley, Gil Evans, Charlie Haden, and so many others, he has emerged as one of jazz and contemporary music's most extraordinary composers and leaders. We cover the lengths of this album and how it was cathartic after suddenly losing his wife in 2015. Enjoy this interview.
Okay, well, thanks for this interview. It's greatly appreciated.
My pleasure. It's great to meet you. I love the album. I've been a fan of your work, and I want to begin, before we get into the Tuba Trio Chronicles, I want to know, COVID really hit the musicians hard in the world for the last 3.5 years or so. How did you make it through the pandemic, and how did it change you?
For me, it was not a very productive or good time. I have a grandson, and I pretty much had to work with him during that period, trying to do the virtual schooling and everything, and it was just and me being an older individual, it was just a very difficult period for me. I wasn't as productive as I wanted to be. I was very surprised that other people were able to get a lot of projects done and do a lot of wonderful things. But for me, it was a very difficult, depressing time. Even though I had the joy of working with my grandson, helping him through virtual schooling and everything. But otherwise, and the state of the country, as you know, it was not in a good place. Everybody was not sure exactly how long this would last, or if the administration, had any really positive plans for the future. So, it was, for me, it was not a very, very good time. And the Tuba Trio was scheduled to go on a tour just before, in fact, just before COVID hit. So we had booked the tour. We had all the dates in place and everything, and we were going out to do a tour. And all of a sudden, all these cancellations came in, and that was not a good thing for us also. So it took us almost 2 years, 2 to 3 years to finally do the tour. We just completed it this year. 2023 in September, we finally completed the tour that was scheduled pre-COVID. So for me, it was not a good time, but other people were able to get a lot of work done, and had different outcomes than I did. And plus also, of course, lost a lot of friends during that time, and colleagues. It was difficult for me.
So talk to me a little bit about the album. What was kind of the vision for this album?
Okay, in 2015, I recorded the first Tuba Trio album, and that was a dedication to my mentor and good friend Sam Rivers, whose centennial we're celebrating this year. He started. His birthday was September 25th, 2023. So this entire until September 2024, we'll be celebrating his centennial, Sam Rivers centennial. So the first one was a tribute to Sam Rivers, the Tuba Trio Chronicles, Volume 1, with myself, Warren Smith, and Scott Robinson. Warren Smith played percussion, and Scott Robinson played, reeds and a multitude. He's, a tremendous instrumentalist, multi-instrumentalist, and he played a number of instruments on that particular album. And the album was called the Tuba Trio, and was named after the tuba trio that I worked with Sam, and the original tuba trio with Sam Rivers, myself, and Warren Smith. It was that combination that I was trying to emulate and archive, for myself. After Sam passed away, I wanted to do my own version of the Tuba Trio. Used a lot of the concepts I used and developed under Sam's tutelage and everything. So that album was really a dedication to Sam, and featured a lot of the techniques and colors and textures that we worked on when I was a member of the Sam Rivers Tuba Trio. This new one, the Tuba Trio Chronicles 2, is more of a therapeutical album for me. It's a way of helping me, through my healing process. Because I lost my wife, in a really bad car accident, and many of my projects, from that period on, were dedicated to her, just like this one. This album is dedicated to her. So it's really a therapeutic album for me to help me with my healing process. But I found out, through performing and discussing with the audience that the therapy that I was working on through the music was also beneficial to a lot of other people that had similar or things going on in their lives. Losing a loved one that they really respected and honored and everything. So this one is pretty much a therapeutical project for me to help me and all the compositions and all the members of the ensemble were part of that healing process. Everyone in this ensemble, Scott Robinson, Warren Smith, Bill Cole, Craig Harris, Arthea Soli Cole, and Sarah Cole. When my wife passed away, they were very, very helpful with, because I thought that no need for me to go on any further. Life was like, we were married for 45 years. We met in high school sweethearts, and our lives were intertwined, for many, many years. And then, it was just one day, she said she's going out and she's going to do a couple of things, and then, after 45 years, she just, that was it. She was gone. And it was very, very hard for me to deal with in many, many ways. And even though it's been a while, it's still very hard to deal with. That type of trauma really never really leaves you. You see that you kind of surviving, but down deep, that trauma is really, 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 really intense. So anyway, this album is a bunch of soundscapes to honor her legacy, and the title, all the titles reflect that my desire to do that, and like affirmation. Affirmation. The very first tune is just the ensemble, exploring tonal colors, that we're going to be using throughout the entire projects in different ways, and just approaching those tonal colors in a way, to kind of just awaken the mind and soul and spirit and everything, because all the compositions are improvised soundscapes and everything. I put together a graphic score and I explained to everybody the feeling that I want and what I was looking for, and everything. But there was no notated music. I didn't write anything down in this particular case. We talked about it. We discussed it, and I expressed my feelings to the members of the ensemble, and they gave me feedback on their feelings, and they said that and they reflected their feelings, in their performance of the music. So affirmation and then remembrance. Just the Warren Smith on that explained the marimba and the sound. I was looking for the sounds of wood and metal, because the sound of wood is very therapeutical, in both African and Indian cultures, and just to help focus the mind's eye, which is people call that the third eye, to help and that third eye is supposed to help you see deeply into possibilities and what can happen. And then the next composition is a reaction to it was my initial reaction to that traumatic event. It was when something like that happens, you begin to, especially to someone that was very, very pure and very, very loving and sweet, and you wonder why her, of all people, she is never, she was loved by everybody, never hurt anybody, wouldn't even hurt a fly. It was very giving, very sweet, and then to lose her, that quickly, and that's in that traumatic way, it made me, begin to the title is, it's in Italian, but it means, it says, I curse thee death, curse, I just curse the whole concept of death and the lack of meaning, when it takes someone away from you that you really, really love and respect, and was planning pretty much to live your entire life with. So it was just my initial reaction, and it stuck with me for a long time, and so I just decided to explore that, through that particular composition. So it's a voice reaction to a troubling traumatic event, and everything. And then Liberation is a composition that was played on kora by Althea Soliko, who is Bill Cole's daughter. And I went through the personnel, but Bill Cole and Althea Soliko, a father and daughter, and everything. And she plays the chorus. She went to Africa and studied with a kora master. And she also constructed her kora while she was in Africa. So the master taught her, but he also showed her how to build a kora from scratch. Going into the forest and picking out the gourd and the construction of the strings and the metal and the steel that's involved in putting together that. So that instrument is a very, very personal instrument to her. And it's reflected in the sound that she gets out of it, which is a very liberating sound. Ancient color, the ancient color tonalities and everything. Very, very liberating. So I named that composition Liberation, and it's another soundscape, within the pretty much same concept of the album. And then Step uses two didgeridoos, Bill Cole on one and Craig Harris on the other. And on that one, I wanted the didgeridoos to sound like heartbeats, and the pulsation that they had, during this composition. I wanted to really get into intersanctions of the heart and the soul, and really dig deep. And this piece, was almost like digging deep as a cleansing piece, for me and for hopefully for others when they begin to listen to it. So
yeah, no, that's great. That's a beautiful overview, and I think what I'd like to know is where's the best place for people to pick this album up?
Okay, the best place at this point is the Downtown Music Gallery. It's the online music realtator. So Downtown Music Gallery is the best place. You can also, it will be also available on my website, which is josephdailey, .com. It's available on CD Baby and also Bandcamp. So those are the four places that you can find this project if you wish to.
Absolutely, and I recommend everyone out there grab it. Joseph, thank you so much. You really covered a lot of ground of what I was interested in with this album. I'm looking forward to presenting to my audience at Neon Jazz. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insights. Have a wonderful 2024. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening and tuning into another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players and minds in New York, LA, Kansas City, and spots all over the globe, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Joseph for his time and story. If you want to hear more Neon Jazz interviews, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to us at YouTube, and for everything Neon Jazz, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.